Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. So in today's video I thought that we are finally going to be starting a Brandon Sanderson book. So I thought I really want to document my thoughts, the process, how long it takes me. I just want to document everything. So I thought I would start a little reading vlog for the series because I kind of get the feeling I'm going to love this and obviously want to carry on. So I thought that we're starting this today finally, so maybe we could start reading this together. So this is going to be spoiler filled because I'm probably just going to want to brain dump everything that's going through my mind and talk about everything that's happening. So it's going to be spoiler filled, but I'm so excited to dive into this, and I kind of hope that I can carry on this as a little series and just do a reading vlog for all the Brandon Sanderson books that I end up reading. So I've done a lot of research and I thought that this was the best place to start because it was either this or starting with Elantris, but from the research that I've done, Mistborn Era 1 is the best place to start. So this is the Final Empire book 1 and I'm going to be starting it today. I don't have much time to read today, but I do have about an hour right now that I'm going to sit and read, so hopefully I can do that, tell you all about it, my first thoughts, and just use this as like a little reading diary for me as well, because if I'm going to be reading this series I could probably watch these videos back just for my own personal use to kind of recap what's going on and everything like that. So yeah, I thought I'd take you along for the journey. Hopefully this video turns out really well and hopefully I really liked the book. So we are just going to crack on and finally start the first book in the Mistborn series, which is the Final Empire. So I have read the prologue. I've literally read, I don't even know how many pages, 15 pages I've read so far, and obviously I want to talk about it just so I can kind of wrap my head around things, because I definitely feel I'm probably going to start getting confused. Maybe I need to start writing stuff down, I don't know. So it sounds like there has been an uprising and it's probably been planned for quite a while, and the guy's name is Kelsier. Is that how we're pronouncing it? Kelsier, that's how I'm pronouncing it in my head. And he's turned up and there's these people called the Scar, again probably butchering that. Now these Scar have been slaves for ages. They're miserable, they don't get paid, they just get overworked, they get beaten. So it sounds like this uprising is to kind of stop that. And Kelsier has been speaking to someone and said that other people in a different location are actually thinking about like paying their Scar and, you know, treating them nice and not being dicks about it, and, you know, not letting them be slaves. And so he's telling these Scar about these other Scar, and that basically you want to do something about it. Let's cause something so you can escape and potentially go to this place, is what I'm kind of taking from it. They basically said no, don't want to do that, we're going to get in trouble, they're going to kill us, they're going to beat us. So it sounds like this Kelsier has basically just started it anyway and just started this uprising. And it says he warned us, Tepper, he came to stir up trouble. But why? Because he knew we'd never rebel on our own, so he gave us no choice. So I suppose that's it, they've had no choice, they have to carry on with the uprising, try and escape, and then I assume go to this other place which I have forgotten about. So actually no, so it says here, where will we go? The caves to the east. Travelers say there are rebel Scar hiding in them and perhaps they'll take us in. And then they have to spend some nights in the mist because there's some weird monster or something. Mist monster, it's called Mist something. I think I probably should start writing this down. So there's obviously something about being in the mist and we don't want that, but they're going to risk it anyway to go to the caves to see these rebel Scar so they can take them in and look after them. So that's all I've got up to so far, literally the prologue. I'm going to write everything down, I think, in my notes app, and then if anything I come across, I can write it down and then speak to you about it later. But I haven't got much longer. I've got like 15 minutes, so I'm probably going to read one more chapter and have to go. But I'm enjoying it so far. Looks like I haven't left this spot for a while, but I have been doing stuff. I've just been coming back to the same spot. So I'm now up to chapter 3. So I have my phone, I've got notes, I have things to discuss, I have things written down. I'm going to tick them off when I've spoke to you about them so I know. So the city is called Luthadel. That's all I have. We're going to tick that off because I'm going to forget the city that they're in. So the city is Luthadel, and we are following 2 different POVs. So we have Kelsier, so he was in the prologue, and then we're also following Vin. Now Vin is a thief. Now she is a scar thief, so basically she's been a slave from what I know, but then for some reason she has these weird powers and she keeps calling it luck, but it's not luck. She can like touch someone and then basically tell them to calm down or like persuade them to do something, and it's very weird. But I assume it's not luck. She has actual powers, and we've just found out that they've gone for this meeting, and this meeting was with Kelsier because Kelsier wants Vin, wants her for something, and I'm assuming it's got something to do with her powers because, and I quote, he thinks that Vin is a misting and called her a Mistborn. Now I just assumed Mistborn was just the title of the book, but obviously not. So Mistborn is a thing, it is a power, it's an ability, and there was obviously in the prologue about misting and they didn't like that. So I'm assuming she can do that and they want her for an uprising, perhaps? She's going to be like the key to it all, I think. And then she went to the meeting with a guy called Cammon. Now Cammon is the crew leader. He kind of looks after her but also beats her as well. So we don't really like him at all, really, but she can kind of like calm him down as well, and he appreciates that, but he's still like smacking her about, so I mean we don't like him at all. So that's where we're up to currently. So they've just had a meeting. Vin and Cammon has just left, and Kelsier has just been talking to someone else whose name I have forgotten, but they've decided that they want Vin, and apparently Kelsier has been keeping an eye on Vin for a while just to kind of track her, so obviously she's important to the story somehow. I kind of didn't realise it was 2 different POVs as well, because it doesn't say that. It just goes from another paragraph and then you're in a different POV, so I definitely need to pay a bit more attention to that, I think. But it's very good and I'm very much enjoying it. So on chapter 3, I'm on page 44, which is not much, and I have to pause here, but I am very much enjoying it and I can't wait to carry on and let you know my thoughts. So I've made it pretty far. I'm now up to chapter 6, which is page 104, and I've just got my notes app and I've got quite a few things to talk about, I think. So let's just kind of go through. So Kelsier is like a half-blood, so he's kind of a misting but kind of not, from what I've realised. But then he's basically going to be starting to train Vin to take down the Empire. That is his goal. That is his goal in life. So we've met up with a guy called Breeze and a guy called Ham. Now their names are very weird. and I don't really know who they are. Whether I've just skimmed over that bit, I'm not too sure. But they're basically their own little crew now, and Vin is part of their crew. And Kelsier has basically told her that she is a Mistborn. So you can be a Misting, where you can control like one part, one element, whereas if you're a Mistborn, you can control all. So there's 8 different metals that you can kind of control, and if you can do one, you're a Misting. And if you can do more than one, you're a Mistborn, and they're quite rare. So Kelsier did a trick with Vin and figured out that she can do 2, so he's going to train her up to basically be able to do the rest. So she's quite rare, but apparently Kelsier can do that as well. So there's 2 rare Mistborns in this little group, and they basically want to take down the Empire. But to be able to take down the Empire, they need to go and find the Atium. Now, the Atium is in the pits because Kelsier was betrayed, got thrown into the pits with his wife, and sadly his wife didn't make it. So I don't know if this is like a revenge story, but his wife didn't make it. He managed to escape, and apparently people don't escape the pits because that's where the Atium is. That's where they mine for the Allomancy, which is, I assume, all the different metals. So he managed to escape, so he knows that it's there. So he needs to basically go back to find this one rare metal that you can burn, and that's going to overthrow the Empire. That's the only way to do it. I think that's how I'm taking it. So yeah, that's kind of where we're up to. So they're all kind of gathered. They want to destroy the Empire, and I assume it's going to be their travels throughout. The banter in this is very, very funny though. I do really enjoy the banter between all the characters, and I'm slowly warming up to all the characters and kind of understanding who they are and what they do. But it's definitely, I'm really glad that I'm writing this down, otherwise I'm going to forget. So yeah, that's where we're up to. 100 pages in, it's not bad. I mean, it is a long book though, to be honest. It's like over 600 pages. So I mean, we're a sixth of the way through, but it's really good so far, and I am really enjoying it. So I'm kind of hoping, you know, the main sort of world building and stuff like that is going to be in this one, and then so when I get to the second one, it will be a bit more easier to understand, if that makes sense. So I don't know if I'm explaining this right. This is literally for me to just dump my thoughts down and tell someone, which is unfortunately you guys, about it. So yeah, but really enjoying it so far. So yeah, I'm literally going to spend the rest of the evening reading, because obviously this is going to be very chopped and changed, because it's just as and when I can read and as and when I can kind of update you on what I'm reading and everything. So I read for my lunch for a little bit, but I've got the evening to just basically sit and read. But I am tired, so we'll kind of see how much we get done. But obviously I will tell you everything that's on my mind about this book anyway. So yeah, we're doing some good reading, and I'm so glad I picked this up, and I feel like I'm going to be a Brandon Sanderson girly. So I don't know how long it's been since I last updated you. I think I updated you yesterday, but all the days are kind of rolling into one. So we are now up to part 2, which is chapter 9, which is page 171, and I've now moved into a cute little notebook to write down everything that's happening. So I've just got some notes to kind of discuss with you about this. So the plan apparently now is they are to gather Ydin an army, cause chaos in Luthadel, secure the palace, steal the Lord Ruler's Atium, and then leave the government to collapse. So apparently that is the plan, and then we're kind of figuring out how to get to that, basically, I think. So yeah, so they've gone for a meeting, and Kelsier was there and Vin was there, and they were all kind of chatting away, and Vin's very small, she doesn't really want to be seen, she's kind of just used to like hiding in the shadows. So Kelsier pretty much draws her into the conversation and encourages her to ask some questions, and you know, he kind of wants her advice, which I quite like their dynamic, I like their relationship, because it is slowly building, and she's finding it very difficult to trust him because she's never had to trust anyone else before, but she's asking other people like, can you trust him, and they're saying yes, and she's kind of like confused because she's just, yeah, she's never had to do that before. So it's quite nice to see her open up around him. And then Marsh has come back into the picture, and from what I know, Marsh is Kelsier's brother, and he kind of started the uprising and was like the head of the rebellion, but it's kind of took a step back, realised he doesn't necessarily want to do that, he's quite happy with everything the way that it is. So Kelsier's kind of overtook it, and Marsh isn't happy because Kelsier is just killing people for the sake, not for the sake of killing people, but he's obviously trying to make a point, and Marsh is saying that obviously these people that you're killing are Scar at the end of the day, and you're not exactly caring about what you're doing and this, that and the other. So they've kind of had a bit of an argument. Marsh is always going to be there for Kelsier, but I don't think that he wants to be part of the rebellion. So I don't know if we're going to see much of Marsh in this, whether he's going to come back and help, I'm not too sure. So that's kind of that. And I figured out that Ham is a pewter, and I've forgotten what that is, but that's basically a thug. So if he's called a thug, that means he's a pewter, and I probably need to research what that is again because I have forgotten and I didn't write it down in my notebook, which was terrible. So yes. And then after all this meeting, they kind of know what they're going to be doing. Vin has been eavesdropping on Kelsier's conversation, and that kind of makes Kelsier smile and laugh, which is a bit odd. You know, that's just kind of him. He's a very happy, jolly guy, which is very weird with his upbringing. You kind of wouldn't expect that. So then Kelsier took Vin to start training her, literally like in the middle of the night, and teaching her about all these different elements that she can use. And one of the most important things is if you're burning bronze, that means that other people can't emotionally manipulate you, which is very ideal because when she first met Mistings, they were manipulating her to go and grab a cup of tea for them and stuff. So she's quite happy that she's learnt that, but she's learnt quite a lot in like an evening, and he's quite impressed with how much she is learning from him and just kind of being around everyone else. And obviously there is a willingness there with her, and again she's building the trust up with him, and they're just, yeah, I just really like their relationship. It's growing on me. And then she met a Mist Wraith, and apparently they're quite weird things and they are real, and she didn't quite realise that. And I wrote down what they look like. So they have a smoky translucent skin, they have dozens of limbs, human hands, bovine hooves, canine haunches. She counted 6 heads, and they have malleable bodies, so they can shape their skin around any skeletal structure. So they don't necessarily kill people. From what Kelsier said, they are harmless. But if there is someone dead on the floor, they can kind of manipulate their body to kind of look like that, which is the reason why they have so many limbs and so many heads. And I don't really understand what the point of them is, but I feel like there is a point to them that we will probably come across. To be able to talk about them like that, like there must be something. And I think they're kind of only in the mist, like at night, hiding away, you know, like ghosts and ghouls kind of do. So I assume that's important, so I wrote it down, but I'm not too sure how important that is. So that is all my notes, and I'm enjoying my cute little notebook and writing everything down because I just feel smart. So that's where we're up to. I've stopped at a good point because we're at part 2, which is called Rebels Beneath a Sky of Ash. So I can only assume there is going to be some fighting involved, or who knows what. So I'm excited to carry on with this. Hopefully these updates are alright. They're probably a bit all over the place. I don't really know what I'm talking about. I'm just dumping everything that's going through my mind, or at least, you know, what I've written down with everything that's going through my mind while I'm reading it. So hopefully it's all making sense. So yeah, I'm going to go and carry on reading this, obviously take you along and let you know my thoughts. But I'm pretty sure I am a Brandon Sanderson girly, so I need to go and buy the rest of his books basically, because I want like an entire shrine of his books. So yeah, I'm gonna go look on Waterstones and Amazon, but more importantly I'm gonna do some reading, and I will update you later with my thoughts. Okay, it has been a hot minute since I actually sat and updated this vlog, because I've been reading so many other books in between. I was part of a read along and I kind of had to put The Final Empire on pause for a little bit, which kind of sucks, but I'm ready to kind of pick it back up again. So this and the last clip you would have seen, there's probably been about 2 weeks, which I'm so sorry for. Obviously you're not really gonna know that, but I know, and in my weekly vlogs you will also, if you've seen that, you will kind of know as well. So I'm very, very sorry, but I'm back on track with reading. So I took this to work with me and I forgot my little notebook, so I had to make some notes on my phone, which kind of sucks. So I thought I'd just quickly run through everything that's kind of happened in the past couple chapters that I've read while I was at work today. So we are now up to chapter 14, which is page 244. So I think I only read like 2-3 chapters since last time, so it's not much, but Vin has gone to a very important ball to kind of see if people are going to hit on her, basically, to kind of figure out who's who and what's what. And while she was at this ball, she got told to just kind of sit and wait, and she did, and she got very bored. So she found the top of a balcony and it looked really quiet and she could kind of look at the architecture and everything. So she went up there and ended up bumping into this guy called Lord Elland. I could be pronouncing that wrong. And he likes to hide away on balconies, and he was reading, which I already like him as a character. He's at a party and he's reading. Love that. So they kind of hit it off, they were chatting, and then when she went back to Kelsier and was like, he was like, well, you know, who did you kind of meet? She mentioned him, and they were like, oh my god, like, apparently he is Lord Elland Venture, who is heir to the house title, so he's very important, but she didn't realise that was who she was speaking to. And whether he's going to be like a love interest, he's obviously going to be very important to the storyline, and I can't tell if he's going to be the good guy or the bad guy, which I'm very intrigued about, because I think he could go either way. He could be really good, but I think he could turn evil as well, so I'm kind of excited to see where that goes. And then after that, she was following Kelsier because he goes off and just does random things, as he does, and keeps to himself, and Vin didn't like that. She wanted to help, so he kind of trained her up on the 10th metal, which is Atium, and this is a very important metal because it can basically make you see into the future. So not like years into the future, more just like 5 seconds into the future. So he would go to punch her, she would see it happening, be able to duck out the way before that happens, and apparently that's a very important kind of metal. But if she took it and Kelsier took it, it kind of balances it out, which is why people kind of have it, but it's not a big metal that people use, apparently. So that was pretty cool to learn. So we are learning more about the metals as well. Vin wants to learn and she wants to help and do more for the Final Empire, I suppose, or for whatever it's called that they're doing. So it's very interesting. We're literally diving back in. I was going to read the chapter before, but I kind of just forgot and just picked it up and carried on. But I kind of know where we are. I do kind of need to edit the vlog and maybe rewatch everything I've said to kind of help, but that is for another day. So yeah, that's where we're up to, and I'm hoping to read a bit more tonight, hopefully. But this is the only book that I am physically reading, and I do only want to physically read this until I've finished it. So hopefully the rest of the B-roll sections and me talking is just going to be quite consistent, I hope. So yeah, that's all my updates. Again, apologies for the big time jump and the fact that I have been reading this for like 3 weeks now, it feels like. But hopefully we are on the straight and narrow, ready to kind of carry on and finish this, because I am really enjoying it. I definitely feel like I am a Brandon Sanderson girl, and I do kind of want to pick up every book he's written, basically. So I'm gonna go hopefully read a little bit more of this tonight, and then after a few more chapters we will speak again and I will tell you everything that's going on in my mind. Remember like the last time I sat and spoke to you about reading this, because I said that obviously it'd been a while since I read this, picked it up for a little bit, and then I think I've just been filming bits and pieces, but I don't know if I've actually sat and told you anything. But the only thing that's kind of getting me going is that on Spotify I've managed to find The Final Empire on it, so I'm listening to it as I'm physically reading, and it's definitely helping the motivation more. I think because I know I can't necessarily go on my phone. This is just a big thing recently where I'm just spending so much time on my phone, and I think listening to something kind of makes me realise I shouldn't be on my phone, so then I read it more. So I have just kind of got like halfway through a chapter and I've realised before it starts getting dark we can have a chat. Now I have my little notebook with all my notes and everything on here, and I'm trying to remember the last time that I spoke to you about everything that happened, and I'm pretty sure it was that the Ministry might be aware that Vin is a Mistborn. I think that was the last thing I kind of mentioned. And we have so there was a lot that kind of went on. There was a big fight scene that happened, and Vin basically got caught, and this guy called Sazed, S-A-Z-E-D, I'm assuming that's Sazed, he saved her, and he is a keeper. Now I've realised, finding out, that keepers store metals, and that's what he does, and then he stores them and then he can use them later on. So so we found that out. And they remember things so they can be used in the future as well, so it's not just metals, it's like any sort of information, so they're quite useful. So I suppose it's kind of good that he knows Kelsier, and obviously Kelsier will be using him in some way or another. And then there was also a big thing that obviously we found out that Kelsier was caught and basically thrown into prison, and his wife was thrown into prison, and she ended up dying, which part of me thinks that maybe she's not dead, because I don't actually know if he saw a body, if he saw her die. So I think there's going to be a big twist that she's not actually dead, that she's like part of the Empire or something. I don't know, I could be completely wrong, but I just kind of get that feeling. But a lot of people assume that it was her who kind of betrayed him that got him caught, which would kind of make sense in the fact that, you know, she's on the other side. I don't know, there's just something that's just not adding up in my head. I just feel like she is actually alive and she's not dead, so we'll kind of just see what happens with that. And we learned about bronze. Burning bronze can help you identify a Mistborn, which I think is very interesting. I thought that was actually pretty cool. Vin is slowly like learning more and more. After she got her and saved her. She's been like, she was bedridden, she wasn't really able to do stuff. She's only just going back out to balls and stuff, so she's now starting to like use her metals and her allomancy more, which is obviously what she wants. And that Sazed is slowly hanging around with Kelsier more, and their banter is just really good. I just love their banter. Definitely becoming more like Kelsier. I don't know if it's just more they're getting comfortable with Vin around as well, but the banter is just brilliant. I love it. I'm literally, especially listening to it as well, I'm literally just sat here laughing, which I am quite enjoying. And then we also met Shan. Now Shan is Elend's ex. Now Elend is the guy who was at the ball who was sat reading, so we like him. And he actually seems to care about Vin as well. But we met Shan, and she's basically a bitch. I don't like her. What Elend saw in her, I don't know. It's a good thing that they're exes, but she's basically a bitch. Don't like her. Cross her off. And then there's something about that Elend slept with a scar when he was 13. And I didn't quite understand whether it was just really bad that he slept with a scar, or the fact that it was bad because she ended up dying. But I don't know if she did die. There was nothing that said that, but you know, we just like, Vin was being really upset about that, so I don't know if it's more the fact that he just slept with a scar she didn't really like, but that was a big thing as well, so that was a big argument. And Elend was very sorry about that, because he says he actually does like Vin, and obviously we think he likes her a little bit more than initially. You know, there's obviously a romance or something going on there. But yeah, that's kind of where we're up to. I'm only on page 401, so we are slowly getting there. We've still got like over 200 pages left, but I'm kind of determined to finish it this week, hopefully, because I don't know how long. I've been technically reading this for like a month, so hopefully I can finish it over the next few days, and then God knows what this vlog is going to be like. God knows whether I ever do a reading vlog like this again, because I never thought it was going to take me this long to get through this. So, I mean, good luck to future me for editing this, and good luck to you guys for when this is edited and you're watching this, because I think it's going to be a bit of a mess. So I am sorry, I'll have to brush up on my vlog skills for just reading one book, but I didn't expect it to take this long to read. But I am really enjoying it, so that's kind of where we're up to now. I am like in the middle of a chapter, so I am going to just cut this short and carry on, and hopefully I can read a little bit more tonight. But I do think I will take like my headphones with me to work tomorrow, because I'm definitely enjoying this sort of reading mode more, and I'm definitely getting back into it. So yeah, very excited. I can't believe we're almost finished with this. I do own the second one, but I do have other books that I kind of want to get to first, but I do own the second one. So if this vlog does well, I will do it for the second book. Let me know if you do want me to vlog for the second book. I'm happy to do it, even if it is a mess. I mean, it's realistic at least, I suppose. But yeah, just let me know if you do want me, or if there's any like books that you want me to vlog about while I'm reading. I'm happy to do that as well. So yeah, let me know. So I'm going to carry on reading, and I will let you know my thoughts with my notebook later on, when hopefully I've read a little bit more and more's happened. Know the last time I spoke to you, because this vlog is just a mess. So it's currently Sunday. I've been sat reading for a little bit, and I'm determined to kind of finish this today, and then maybe later we can see what this vlog is actually looking like, because I think it's probably going to be a bit of a mess. But I've been making some notes, so I thought I would just quickly share everything, because everything's kind of happening. So I want to say that the last thing that we kind of spoke about was that we met Shan, who was Elend's ex, and then we move on to the fact that Elend really likes Vin, and things have happened since I wrote this down, which is rather annoying. We'll get to that. Ellen was like falling for her, basically wanted to kiss her, didn't, and Vin was kind of relieved but also rather annoyed. So she's obviously getting feelings for him, but Ellen is very suspicious of Vin and basically gets some spies to keep an eye on her, because some information has got out that he basically only told her about. So he's a bit like, kind of what's happened. So he's gonna get someone to spy on her to see what's happening. And yeah, it's just, there's not much trust really. And I suppose that's understandable, but, and Vin was reading one of the old books that Sazed, I think that's how you pronounce it, Sazed. I've been saying Sazed, but on the audiobook people are saying Sazed. So he's translating, and I just really love the fact that Brandon Sanderson uses like the titles of his other books in this book. Whether he knew they were going to be the titles, I don't know, or whether he just liked the names of it, but he must have known. But I just really like that they've been talking about the hero of ages, and I just like, because that is that the next book? No, that's the third book in this series. So he must have known. He's a very smart guy, so he must have known, but I just really liked that aspect of it. And then basically Ellen figured out that she was using him basically and has cut things off, and obviously Vin's not happy about that. Ellen doesn't seem too happy about that, but it's, you know, for the good of his people, for the, you know, for the good of his title and everything like that. So he's just happy to kind of move on. But then right after that, we then found some information that Ellen is basically going to get murdered, because he has all of these like really old books that need translating, but it's got a lot of information in it. Someone's gonna murder him basically. This person told Vin, and this person was like, what does he owe you? He's basically just cut everything off. You're not important enough to him. What is he to you? Why do you need to go and save him? And then that's when Vin realised that she loves him and admitted that she loves him. So obviously she went to go and save him. I thought that was really cute. And then there was just a really cool fight scene, because Shan ended up being there, and we figured out that Shan is a Mistborn, and she's managed to hide that for God knows how long. And she knows how to use the, is it the 10th metal, the Atium? Is that the 10th metal? She knows how to use that. So there was a really cool fight scene. I just thought it was incredible. My mouth was literally open while listening to it. But the way that Vin killed Shan was incredible. So she used the Atium, but Shan had Atium as well. So obviously if you both use it, it kind of cancels out. But Vin didn't have as much, so she kind of stopped using it. Shan thought that she had used it all up, so then she was obviously about to kill Vin. Vin then was like, oh, I have a bit more, used it. And yeah, it was just a really good scene. So that's where we're up to currently. I've just finished the chapter, so we are on chapter 31, which is page 514. I don't know if I mentioned that. So we've got like 130, 150 odd pages to go, so I am very determined to finish this today. I'm about to make a cup of tea, and then hopefully I can, for like the next half an hour while that's cooling down and while I drink it, I can then carry on reading this. So yeah, I am really enjoying it, and I'm definitely enjoying it more with headphones. I'm obviously reading it much quicker, but yeah, that's kind of where we're up to at the moment. I'm definitely going to keep my little notebook just to kind of remind me everything that's happening, but yeah, I'm really having a good time, so I'm going to go make a cup of tea and carry on reading. I have some thoughts and obviously things to say about the Final Empire. So I have literally just finished this and I've got like 2 pages worth of stuff since the last time I spoke to you about what's kind of happened. So let's just quickly run through this, and then I can give you my overall thoughts on the Final Empire. So we ended with Vin killing Shan. So we ended with that, and then Vin told Kelsier about what happened and then had a right go at him as well, which I rather enjoyed. I think he needed that. And obviously they've got that sort of relationship where they can do that, which I just thought it was good. And then afterwards she went onto the roof and Kelsier then came and they had a really nice chat. And he basically said that even though like his wife Mayne had betrayed him, that he still loved her, but it was just kind of thrown in there. So he knows that Mayne betrayed him, sorry, and he still loves her and, you know, cares for her and everything. So there was a bit of a moment, I think. But then they also figured out that Vin is obviously a very powerful Mistborn, and we kind of didn't really know why, but if you burn bronze, then there's something in you that you can then be able to tell what the other Mistborn is then burning, and apparently, you know, you need to be really good to be able to do that, and Vin's kind of worked out that she can do that. So she's basically like a top tier sort of Mistborn. And then after everything happened, Kelsier decided to go to the pits of Hathium, I think that's how you pronounce it, and he shattered all the crystals that produced the Atium geodes. Now that basically means that he ended the Atium production in the Final Empire for at least the next 300 years or so. So he was able, I don't know how he was able to just get in this time and not the other times, but he was able to get in, destroyed it. So that's basically like the start of the rebellion, I suppose, or not the start, but you know, a main part of the rebellion. And then after that, the Lord Ruler managed to get him and kill Kelsier, which, you know, when you read it and you go, no, but yeah. So Kelsier died, and it was all of a bit of a shock. And you know, when you just look and you think, oh, he's going to come back to life or something, or it's not really going to be him, but no, he's dead. He's dead, and it's just... But then a mist wraith, whose name is Renault, I think that's how you pronounce it, again, terrible, then they can like absorb the bones and everything and kind of turn them into that person. So Kelsier had this all planned, had this mist wraith then take him so he could turn into himself, so then he can give the people hope, so it looks like that he wasn't actually killed, that he's like immortal, to kind of piss off the Lord Ruler basically, and then give everyone else hope, which is a really nice thing. But then it's also a bit weird because Vin saw the mist wraith and thought it was Kelsier, but could tell it wasn't Kelsier. It was kind of a good and a bad thing, but yeah, it was just, yeah. And then we found out that Vin's father is Lord Prelane, who was with the Lord Ruler, and apparently he slept with a Scar woman he shouldn't have, and then they basically just murdered him there and then. The Lord Ruler just had him murdered because that, you know, this is the reason why they don't mix with the Scar, because we think that Vin is a ferrochemist, which is like a mixture. So this is why she can burn bronze and kind of see what other Mistborns are burning, and that's what the Lord Ruler was. And he kind of wanted to stop the mixture happening, because then other people could basically do what he does, and obviously he doesn't want that. He doesn't want competition. So we figured that out. They also captured Sazed, and then they were going to torture him in front of Vin just to basically piss her off. But then Sazed is incredible and helped her escape because he's incredible. But then we found out that the Lord Ruler, he is called Rashik, but he's not technically the man who wrote the book that they've been translating, and he's not the hero who was sent to protect the people. He was like the Lord Ruler's servant, and he thought he was doing the right thing, and he wasn't. So yeah, that's all my notes. And then at the end, basically, Vin was tired of people leaving her. She was obviously pushing people away. She was pushing Elend away, and then she just turned and said to him that, you know, basically she doesn't want him to leave, and he didn't want to leave her anyway, because he has feelings for her, she has feelings for him. So he's actually sticking around for her now, which she really, really likes. And yeah, that's basically the end. I mean, it was such a good read. I had such a fun time. It obviously took me a while. I think I was in the wrong mood. I was in a slump, but definitely listening to it helped. But I feel like I've been reading this for like a month, so I'm so glad that it's over. But you know when you just like, I can't believe it's over. And then I do think, I don't know what the next books are going to be like, but I do think it could line up very, very nicely. Knowing it is a trilogy as well, I was expecting it to end on like a really big cliffhanger, and it didn't. But I had such a fun time reading this, and yeah, can't believe that's it. That's this little vlog over. I hope you liked the vlog. I need to go and edit the vlog, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna throw my PC at the wall or something, because I'm probably going to be pissed off with how little I probably updated you on. But I had a really fun time. I really hope that you liked this vlog. Let me know if you did. Let me know if you want me to do more of these types of vlogs. Hopefully it won't take me like a month to do the next one. And if you don't want me to do that, that's absolutely fine. Let me know what sort of videos you do want to see from me. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for commenting, for liking, for subscribing. Thank you for all that you do, and I will see you in my next one.